You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion, delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We're a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guests and first-timers on Ron Siegel Radio. Monica Armas, Beacon Placement and Care Services. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Glad to have you with us.
Yes.
Claude Delgado is here from Keller Williams. He's a senior real estate specialist. I don't know if that means he's old or he helps seniors. I don't know, but we're going to find out later. Welcome, Claude.
Thank you, Ron. And yes, it's both of those. I am old and I do help older adults.
Ah, nice. Okay, so we're going to learn more about Claude's world a little bit later in the broadcast as well. And then remind you, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. This is a tough one. I want to share this one with you before we get to our actual celebrations, because yesterday was National Smarties Day. And if you're as old as I am, you remember Smarties and Sweet Tarts, and now they've come out with Skittles. Well, if you're getting any of those at Halloween time, please do me a favor and throw them in the trash. Unfortunately, right now, we've got a lot of folks that are less than honorable, and they're putting fentanyl in these packages. And they look just like these little candies that they're giving to kids. Better be safe than sorry. Just put them in the trash. There's lots of other candies out there. So be real careful. I just throw that out there for you. A word from your friend, Ron Siegel. Yesterday was also Fried Scallops Day, so I can't go beyond that one. Josh, I'm having trouble getting past that, even though today is actually National Techies Day. So with being National Techies Day, Josh might just, erase me if I keep going on with some of these other things. But National Techies Day, I like that one. Nothing to eat today, huh, Josh? What's going on here? There's no food in the. We'll have to wait until tomorrow when it's Cinnamon Bun Day. Okay. Moving right along. Let's take a look and see what the markets are doing. Oh, the markets are up today. Well, wait till tomorrow. That'll change. Dow Jones Industrial Average up 646 points. S&P 500 is up 73. The NASDAQ is up 165 points. Oil is up $3.20 per barrel. And it's going to get worse. I'm going to tell you why. But let's take a look at it. You got to love this stuff. Right here in the formerly Golden State. I don't know where they're coming up with these numbers, but it says $6.03 a gallon is the average of gallon of gasoline here in the formerly Golden State. Oh, wait a second. It just refreshed. $6.38 a gallon. Ow! I paid $6.39 over the weekend at Costco for premium. $6.39 a gallon. Josh, you're over there sitting there at $5.48. I bet you thought that was expensive, huh? Other than having being $1 cheaper than we are on this side of the border. Our friends over in Hawaii are at $5.22 a gallon. Think about that, $1.16 a gallon cheaper than we are. Jody's sitting there at $4.48, laughing at both of us, Josh. And Lori's at $3.10 a gallon. They're in Louisiana, our tremendous underwriter. But why is it going to get worse? Well, here it is. Are you ready for this? There's going to be a meeting of OPEC coming up, and they're expected to cut production by 1 million barrels. Yeah, isn't that special?
It is what it is.
Right after the president goes over there and asks them to increase production, they're going to cut it. And being that the president's been releasing oil from the strategic reserves, and that's going to stop at the middle of this month, we're expecting to see oil go to $100 per barrel. Ow! Yeah, so if you think it's bad now, add another 20%. And of course, right here in the formerly Golden State, they'll probably put more taxes on there. That way they can give more money to people that probably don't need it, or buy more votes, or any of these other dumb things. It just amazes me. But hey, elections have consequences, and we keep electing the people that do this stupid stuff to us. But hey, if you want to keep voting the same way, just keep on doing it. Unreal. Let's see what else is going on in the world. There's a lot going on. We're going to be watching it. But, I wanted to share this with you. And it dawned on me as I was driving this weekend. I thought back to when we first started doing the radio program, 2010. Been 12 years right now. Do you remember 2010? I know millennials, you don't remember that very well. You're probably in junior high school, having a good time, playing dodgeball or kickball. Guess you don't do that too much anymore. But here's the issue. 2010 was probably not one of the better times in history to be involved in real estate. And what did we start doing? We started doing a home and finance real estate program. Why would we do something like that when the market was so challenging? It wasn't because we were getting rich from doing it. I promise you that. It was all about educating you and saving you and trying to do what we could, or what we can. That time, I guess it was what we could, to protect you from those folks that are out there trying to scam you. And I see it all the time. I told somebody the other day, I just saw it from one of the big banks. I won't say anything about how blue they are, but telling a senior that has $400,000 in equity and behind on their payments that they might want to consider a short sale. Really? So you think about stupid stuff like that, and they're all concerned about it. I can understand that. If I was said to one of those big banks telling me that I needed to just get rid of my house because it might get foreclosed upon, and I have that much equity in there. But I started doing this radio show 2010 so that we could give you the information you need to make educated decisions, maybe not to get scammed by people that are trying to scam you, get bad data from people that are giving out bad data. And we started doing this show, and we've been doing it for the last 12 years. Now, after 2012, 2013, 14, real estate got pretty good. Mortgage world got pretty good. And you can make a lot of money in real estate and own your own real estate. But in the last 6 months, the Federal Reserve has decided they were going to wake up. Now, they're still not too smart, but they're going to wake up. And what they've done is they've increased interest rates so dramatically, and we've got inflation so hot based on policies from the administration. And it's going to get worse because oil drives a lot of these things, and you've got the strategic reserve ending their sales. We've got the presidential policies that are not allowing us to drill the way we were drilling. No drill, baby, drill. Not doing that anymore. All of these things are changing, so we're going to have more inflation. The Federal Reserve says they're going to continue increasing interest rates. So what are you going to do? Well, you've noticed that we've started talking a whole lot about credit. And one of the reasons is because if you've got a 650 FICO score and you're not in the 700 club, on a mortgage, $500,000 mortgage, you're paying $236 a month more probably than somebody with a 725 FICO score. If you need to get a new car, you're paying 2 to 3% more on the interest of that new car as well. Maybe even more than that if they can get away with it. We're going to be talking about all of these things. That's why creditsanitizer.com is coming about, and we're helping folks get their credit scores up. And if you love my motto, FICO up yours, right? You need to understand these things. So let's talk about that right now. Your Credit Matters segment brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. What is amounts owed? Amounts owed on accounts determine 30% of your FICO score. 30%. FICO research has found that your level of debt is predictive of future credit performance because the amount owed typically impacts your ability to pay all monthly credit obligations on time. Not to worry if you have debt, it doesn't automatically make you a high-risk borrower. However, as your balances increase, so does the probability of difficulty meeting monthly payments on time. But that's just part of what determines your credit score. Part of the science of scoring is determining how much is too much for a given credit profile. Your FICO score takes into account several factors. There are 5 factors that the amounts owed category looks at. The amounts owed on all accounts. Note that even if you pay off your credit cards in full each month, your credit report may show a balance on those cards. The total balance on your last statement is generally the amount that will show on your credit report. 95% of all people I talk to pay their credit cards the wrong way for FICO scoring purposes. Visit rsrccpayment.com. rsrccpayment.com. It's about an 8-minute video where I show you how to pay your credit cards the right way for FICO scoring purposes. rsrccpayment.com. In addition to the overall amount you owe your FICO score, consider the amount you owe on specific types of accounts, such as credit cards versus installment cards. A large number of accounts with amounts owed can indicate higher risk of overextension. Your credit utilization ratio on revolving accounts, the percentage of your available credit you're using, is an important factor in your FICO scores. Using a high percentage of your available credit means you're close to maxing out your credit cards, which can have a negative impact on your FICO score. On the other hand, using a low percentage of your available credit can have a positive impact. In some cases, a low credit utilization ratio will have a more positive impact on your FICO scores than not using any of your available credit at all. It's also important to note that your current account balance isn't necessarily the balance that shows up on your credit report. Your account balance on your credit report will affect the account balance your lender reported to the credit bureau, typically the balance from your last monthly statement. So even if you pay your credit card balances in full each month, your account balance won't necessarily show on your credit report as zero. For example, if you borrowed $10,000 to buy a car and you've paid back $2,000, you still owe with interest more than 80% of the original loan. Paying down installment loans is a good sign that you're able and willing to manage the debt repayment. The amounts of debt that you owe is an important part of your credit and makes up 30% of your FICO score. Keep track of your debt and credit utilization. And again, rsrccpayment.com. Find out how to pay your credit cards the right way. And as always, hey, don't forget, we don't do this to make money on everything. Go to creditsanitizer.com, fill out the form. I'll need you to get from a specific credit aggregator a $1 credit report, and I'll give you a free credit audit. Free. Can't beat the price. Great information. That is the Your Credit Matters segment brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It is wrong. What are you doing about it? When we come back, we're going to have a great broadcast today. Where are we? Is it Monday morning? I think it must be, and I must not have had at least 3 pots of coffee yet today. We're going to talk about senior placement, senior residence, and real estate, how to prep your house for sale this fall, and little clues that show you a debt collector is a fake. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our offer number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But the replay is available. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
79% of all credit reports have errors that should be corrected through factual disputing. You could be saving thousands every year if your report was accurate. CreditSanitizer.com provides a free credit report audit when you furnish a specific $1 credit report. You can use this information to request corrections to your report and potentially save thousands of dollars. Get your free credit audit at CreditSanitizer.com. That's CreditSanitizer.com for a free credit report audit. CreditSanitizer.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
In the house. Welcome, Alex. Glad to have you with us. Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306 1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The S&P 500 now up 68 points. 10-year treasuries down 18 basis points. Not good news for our seniors, but it's better than it was earlier today. They're the ones living off that fixed income. Mortgage-backed securities up 108 basis points. This is crazy what's going on in these right now. That means mortgage rates are down. Speaking of mortgage rates, OBMMI provides the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry. What are they telling us that rates actually locked at on Friday? Because they do have 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. 30-year conforming, 6.72. Jumbo, 6.491. FHA, 6.524. USDA, for those in the rural areas, 6.483. And the best loan on the market for those that earned it. That would be the 30-year VA loan. Locked Friday, 6.361. Why? Why is all of this happening? What's driving these markets? All those numbers, you can get them on that super secret website, google.com. But why are these things happening? Well, here's the issues. Kathy Jones, chief fixed income strategist for Schwab Center for Financial Research, believes the worst in the bond market is behind us. We sure hope so. She referenced that the bond market, which was the first into recession-like conditions, may be the first out. That would be, for those of you accounting wizards, FIFO, first in, first out. She also cited that yields much higher. Yeah, with yields much higher, it's now becoming an attractive investment, which will help to push yields lower. OPEC, I told you, they're going to meet in Vienna, Austria on Wednesday to decide the next phase of production policy. Looking at a historic output cut of over 1 million barrels per day. That will not be helpful. That'll help us get our gas prices back to $100 a barrel. That is not good. That is inflationary. We know that inflation is the archenemy of bonds. Fed Vice Chair Lael Brainerd spoke on Friday and said, quote, maybe she was listening to Ron Siegel Radio. It will take time for the full effect of tighter financial conditions to work through different sectors and to bring inflation down. Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Continuing the quote, we also recognize that risks may become more two-sided at some point. Uncertainty is currently high. Another one.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
And there are a range of estimates around the appropriate destination, the target range for the cycle. Proceeding deliberately and in data-dependent manner will enable us to learn how economic activity and inflation are adjusting to the cumulative tightening and to update our assessments of the level of policy rate that will need to be maintained for some time to bring U.S. inflation back to 2%, unquote. Unbelievable. Her comments acknowledge the two-sided nature of the impact of their hikes and opens the door for a 50 basis point hike instead of a 75 basis point hike on November 2nd. Don't forget, we get our mole, Nick Timiraos. He is from, I think it's a New York Times or the New York Post, one of those. He actually tells us ahead of time what the Fed's going to do. Somehow they leak the information to him. Just surprise, another surprise. But we're going to get a lot of data this week. We've got the ADP report, the jobs report from the BLS. Markets expecting 200,000 jobs creation by ADP and 250,000 by BLS, expecting the unemployment rate to stay at 3.7%. That is the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. So let's talk about seniors. Now, I use this line all the time. I only want you to listen this morning or this evening, depending upon when you're listening, if you are a senior, if you know a senior, if you love a senior, or if you want to become a senior. If you don't fit into one of those four categories, this might not be the broadcast for you. But in any event, Monica Armas is with us, Beacon Placement and Care Services. Welcome.
Yes, thank you so much.
And Claude Delgado is with us. Keller Williams, welcome.
Thank you, Ron. Good to be here.
So, Monica, tell us a little bit about Beacon Placement and Care. Beacon's like on the lighthouse, right?
That's right. So my company is called Lighthouse Senior Solutions, and
Where'd I come up with that? Okay.
doing business as
Okay.
Beacon Placement and Care Services. And so the analogy that I think of when someone's going through a difficult time, and you know this, is you feel like you're in a storm. You don't know who to turn to, where to go, what to do. And so I want to be that beacon of hope. I want to help my families.
Little ray of sunshine.
The ray of sunshine, be the light. And yes, take them to the lighthouse, to the shore, and guide them along the journey. So sometimes placement is not the answer. Staying at home is an important facet of that.
Okay, you're gonna have to help me out here because I am a simple person. What do you mean by placement?
Okay, so if someone
Stick 'em in
cannot
place
live,
and a little Velcro on the tush, or what?
If someone cannot live in their home any longer.
Okay.
So as you age and as you get older, sometimes your home becomes very overwhelming, right? You have to think about the lawn being mowed. You have to think about your finances. And sometimes someone may live in a 2-story home with a lot of rooms and they're only utilizing 3. And so when
you might even have some mobility issues,
maybe food, preparing food, 3 times a day, snacks in between, that's difficulty. You have difficulty with that. Maybe it's hard to pay the bills, and it's hard with transferring, walking, going to the bathroom, feeding yourself, bathing, grooming, all those things. So if you need help, then there can be services that come to you. And that's called in-care home and assistance. And that's exciting because, people can come in, stay in their home. But the hard part about that, the other side of that, is it can become very expensive.
Very expensive.
Very expensive.
We had some new laws that came into effect probably 4 or 5 years ago where the state of California decided they wanted to make it even more expensive and more difficult. So it was a little cheaper 4 or 5 years ago, maybe more, but thank the state.
Regulations and licensing and all of that. So when someone cannot live in their home any longer due to financial burden, or maybe it's just difficult maybe the parents are living with the adult children and we are part of the sandwich generation,
sure.
Meaning, caring for our family, caring for our loved ones, our parents who are aging.
When I started doing the radio show, Monica, I was the middle part of the sandwich. Now I'm on the top part. Just throwing that out there.
Well, and that's the thing, is that life is a journey, right? We're all going to be there one day. So these resources can help anyone. And so, placement is when they can't live at home any longer, then I help them find the perfect match.
So you made a comment there that I'm going to challenge a little bit.
Go ahead.
So some of the facilities that I've seen, the communities that I've seen, are more of a want to type of facility than a have to type of facility. It's not that I can't live where I'm at now. I might not want to live where I'm at now because some of them are pretty beautiful.
Well, I mean, if you can afford to live in a resort style living community, number one, as we get older, we find ourselves maybe alone. Maybe we lost our spouse. Maybe our children are very busy and it's very difficult for us. And so the socialization that we get is maybe a phone call here and there, a text, maybe your daughter comes over for an hour, but you lose a lot of that socialization, and that affects your mental, your memory. And so
I went through that with my mom. So when my mom was still with us, I said, hey, Mom, you ought to consider this. She wouldn't hear of it.
right.
But I said, you've got some of these communities that they've got lots of activities, because her idea of activity was sitting and waiting for her kids or grandkids to call.
Absolutely.
Right?
And
Are you going through that? Just throw that out there.
If you're
Think about
going
that.
through that, the great thing about living in an assisted living is not only do they have activities, amenities, they have bars, they have pubs, they have restaurants, but it's a way for you to have
Happy hour all
friendships,
day.
happy hours. Exactly. You can have 2-3 glasses of wine. I mean, if that's your thing. But the truth is you can live your best life in a senior community. And if you can afford something like that, why not do it now where you enjoy all of those amenities? Some has swimming pools, some have clubhouses. There's a lot of, there's a lot of socialization and so many things that you can do to plug in and live your best life.
A lot of fun. And something I think, just my personal opinion, of course, that's the only opinion I can give is my personal opinion. I can't give somebody else's opinion.
Right.
But the bottom line, I mean, if you've got, there's facilities in every budget. The big issue
Absolutely.
becomes, do you want to sit there at home waiting for somebody, or do you want to have a good time? I mean, I've watched some of these facilities. There's some in Anaheim Hills that I've seen, and I don't go all over and look at them, but there's some in Anaheim Hills. They're going to the mall, not for me. They go to the beach. I like that one. They go out to Pachanga. I like that. They go to the ball games. I like that. They go all kinds of things. Do you know about those things?
And, I have to say, when I was an educator for 20 years before, and I taught middle school was kind of my niche. And I loved teaching English and writing and reading and all of those things. But
Maybe you can help me because I can't read.
As I moved into the senior industry, I realized when I first got involved in it, I had an opportunity to kind of, glimpse into this. And there's a stigma, I'm Mexican descent. And so at first I said, absolutely not. I can't do this. We don't put our loved ones in assisted living. And that's such a false,
that's big time.
That's a whole, that cold
misconception.
because right as that was happening, Linda, my Aunt Linda, she had dementia, was incontinent, ambulatory, was eloping from the home. After the 4th time, her son said, that's it. Took her and prepared her and, set her up in an amazing memory care community resort life, for her. The last year of her life was her best year.
Think about that concept. That's amazing. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, how to prep your house for sale this fall, we're going to talk to Claude Delgado, Keller Williams. Little clues that show you a debt collector is fake. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Is your budget getting blown up with high prices of gas and increased costs for other household needs? This is Ron Siegel, host of the daily home and finance radio program. Did you know if you have a low interest rate mortgage along with auto debt, credit card debt, or student loans, your family could potentially save $500 or more per month by restructuring these debts? If you'd like a free Borrow Smart analysis with our team, let's book an appointment to see how we might be able to relieve some stress. Schedule your appointment at rsrbsa.com. That's rsrbsa.com for your free Borrow Smart analysis. rsrbsa.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. That is the best solution or source for you to find out a couple of pieces of information. Number one, you want to know how much your property is worth looking backwards. This is more of a refinance pricing. You got to talk to a professional to find out what it'll sell for today. But looking backwards, RSR Home Scout, fourth tab over, gives you 4 different sources, including the one that starts with a Z and is always wrong. I'm not going to mention them. But they're going to give you pricing there on your property. And if you want to look for shopping for real estate anywhere in the continental United States, 97% of the country is covered. RSRHomescout.com. You can put your information right in there. How to prep your house for sale this fall. Today's housing market is different than it was just a few months ago. And if you're thinking about selling your house, that may leave you wondering what you need to do differently as a result. Simple answer: take the time up front to prep your house appropriately and create a solid plan to bring the greatest return on your investment. Now, you know that we have our 99-point marketing plan. And you know, for the most part, not always, for the most part, when you talk to your best friends, neighbors, dogs, mom, that may or may not be the best solution for you. Now, you look at Ron Siegel Radio, go to our Facebook page, and we help realtors all the time. Just on the social media side, share the property with 25, 30. I think we saw somebody the other day, 70,000 people saw one home that was for sale. Here are a few tips to make sure you maximize the sale of your house this fall. Number one, price it right. One of the first things buyers will notice is the price of your house. That's because the price sends a message to home shoppers. Pricing your house too high to begin with could put you at a disadvantage by discouraging buyers from making an offer. On the flip side, pricing your house too low may make buyers worry there's some underlying issue or something wrong with the home. Your goal in pricing your house is to gain the attention of prospective buyers and get them to make an offer. And with price growth and buyer demand moderating, as well as greater supply of homes available for sale, pricing your home appropriately wherever the market is today has become more important than ever. But how do you know that perfect number? Pricing your house isn't a guessing game. It takes skill and expertise. Work with a trusted real estate advisor to determine the current market value of your home. And you also, by the way, need to talk to a specific or a experienced lender. I was chatting with a realtor over the weekend. Somebody came in with a 6.625 offer, and I said, well, it should be 5.5% on the interest and save the family about $400 a month. Just throwing that out there for you. And that's with today's markets, even 5.5%. Now, I don't know if you'll qualify for it. I'm not offering it to you. I'm not selling that. I'm just telling you in this scenario. Number two, keep it clean. Not the language. Don't go there. It may sound simple, but keeping your house clean is another key to making sure it gets the attention it deserves. As Realtor.com says in the home selling checklist, quote, when selling your home, it's important to keep everything tidy for buyers, and you'll never know when a buyer is going to want to schedule a last-minute tour, unquote. Love having your house set up as a museum, don't you? Before each buyer visits, assess your space and determine what needs your attention. Wash the dishes, make the beds, put away the clutter. Yeah, clean the bathrooms too. I've seen some pictures, guys. Doing these simple things can reduce potential distractions for buyers. For more tips, check out give us a call and we'll get you the list of items that you want to look for. Number three, help buyers feel at home. It's important for buyers to see all the possible ways they can make your house their house. An easy first step to create this blank canvas is removing your personal items. I like your wedding photos, but take them away, please. Sentimental belongings, take them away. 2 reasons. No one cares other than you, and we don't want them to get stolen. It's also a good idea to remove any excess furniture to help the rooms feel bigger and make sure there's ample space for touring buyers to stand and look at the layout. If you're unsure what should be packed away and what can stay, talk to your realtor. That's what they're there for. Spending the time on this step can pay off in the long run. As a recent article from the National Association of Realtors, NAR explains, quote, staging is the art of preparing a home to appeal to the greatest number of potential buyers in your market. The right arrangements can move you into a higher price point and help buyers fall in love with the moment they walk through the door, unquote. Bottom line, selling a house requires prep work and expertise. If you're looking to sell your house this season, give me a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. No, I don't sell or buy real estate. Yes, I do have a license and I'm not qualified. but that's a whole different story. Led a lending team, did my first loans in 1983. As always, I ask if you have any friends, family, or coworkers looking to buy, sell, or borrow. Can I count on you to introduce them to me so I can put them in touch with the right people to help them? That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. Thanks. One of our favorite people, Linda Eisenman, Preferred Home Brokers, telling you I know my stuff. I try, Linda. I study. I try. I keep learning from people like you. Great information, though. I appreciate that. So let's chat this morning. Claude Delgado. He is a senior real estate specialist. Now, tell us what that means. Does anybody get to put that on their card, Claude, or do you have to do something special to put that on your card?
You have to go through some special training, pass a few tests to make sure you're qualified and certified to be called a senior real estate specialist. That's correct.
Okay, so you got to go back to school.
Yes, I got to go back to school.
Cool. So give me some ideas. What do I need to know as I'm not there yet. Don't laugh at me, people. I'm not a senior yet. But if I was a senior, Claude, what do I need to know?
So a lot of it really ties in with what Monica was talking about a little bit earlier. As a senior real estate specialist, I'm very familiar and knowledgeable about all the other service providers that assist seniors in their living at home. Monica talked about placement, but almost every single senior that I talk to, their preference is to stay at home, to stay in the home that they've lived in for 20, 30, or 40 years, even though it may not work for them. So a lot of times I work with them to find ways to actually stay in their home, connect them with in-home care providers or in-home health providers or meal delivery services or things like that to help them stay in the home they want to stay in. Even though there are assisted living communities that are like resorts, the vast majority of seniors cannot afford those. Mm-hmm. And most seniors move into an assisted living community because they're dictated to do that by their doctor. So it's not a choice that they've made, it's a choice that's been made for them.
That's a shame.
It really is. It really is.
And it's unfortunate because you're right. There's so many people that they'd be better off in a facility, in a community. I guess I shouldn't use the word facility because that's the.
I like to use community.
Yeah, that's the old days. I'm showing my age. That's the old days when people used to get put away in these facilities to die.
Convalescent homes.
Right. Yeah. Nursing homes, all that.
They're
not that way anymore.
They don't like the word facility. They prefer community.
Yeah, the communities are so much better. And you know something, Claude? We helped a friend of ours several years ago with her dad, and he was able to get into a community. And I think all it cost him was his Social Security.
Right.
So there's
programs.
So it's not like it's unaffordable to people.
Right.
So and I get in trouble when I say this with my family, but I submit that my dad would have done better off in a community when he after his dementia or Alzheimer's, whatever you want to call it, got bad enough. The communities would have been better.
Right.
That's correct.
But my mom said the same thing that you just said. No way he's going to a community. He's staying at home with me.
Right. See, and the reason I got into this because I traveled that path with my father. And when I began helping him, I was clueless. I didn't know where to go, who to turn to, who to ask. And happily and luckily for him, the choices that we made worked out well for them. But a lot of people don't know how to make those right choices, and I help them through that process and guide them along so that the choices they make, the decisions they make, are always in their best interests.
Yeah, and you can only lead a horse to water, right? I look at some of these things and I say, something. I understand that it's better, but one of the things you just brought out is a key component: the idea of being able to put people in touch with service providers. One of the things that we got into, and I don't know if you get into this or not, is the concept that we ended up putting an elevator in my parents' house, right? Because my dad couldn't walk the steps anymore. So when you talk about having that list of service providers, that's a big benefit.
Right.
It is a big benefit, and that I find that that's how I best help my clientele, is providing them the resources that they need to make the choices that work best for them.
Yeah, that's a great tool. Great service.
Yeah, most of the time it's not selling the house. Sometimes it is, but what works best for them is really what motivates me.
Yeah, and the other side of it is I know some folks, and again, if this is you or your family or your loved one, they find that, you know, and I doing reverse mortgages and leading a lending team that does reverse mortgages, I'm going to tell you my biggest pet peeve of reverse mortgages, and it may be the same pet peeve of selling the house to put somebody in the right community. But I'm going to tell you that when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. More with Monica Armas and Claude Delgado. I am also going to give you quickly, because we're running out of time, little clues that show you a debt collector is a fake. All that and more. You can reach me anytime off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
79% of all credit reports have errors that should be corrected through factual disputing. You could be saving thousands every year if your report was accurate. CreditSanitizer.com provides a free credit report audit when you furnish a specific $1 credit report. You can use this information to request corrections to your report and potentially save thousands of dollars. Get your free credit audit at CreditSanitizer.com. That's CreditSanitizer.com for a free credit report audit. CreditSanitizer.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. So here it is. I'm the Your Credit Matters segment today, being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It is wrong. What are you doing about it? So let's chat. I'm going to give you a little bit. I'm going to give you enough to tease you. Little clues that show you a debt collector is fake. But after the broadcast today, I'm going to record this whole story, and we'll have it available on our social channels. And we'll put a link in here to it for you as well in the show notes. Having old debts hanging over your head can be scary. Scammers may try to play on that fear by pretending to be a debt collector, coming after you for past due bills. Recognizing a scammer posing as a collection agency may be a little harder now that collection agencies can contact consumers through social media, text, and email. Knowing the signs to look for can help prevent you from becoming a victim. Here's some signs. They won't give you their contact information. Hang up on them. Seniors, I'm going to tell you this because I love you. If you don't recognize a phone number that's coming to you, don't answer it. Simple. If somebody wants to talk to you, they know how to get a hold of you. If you don't recognize the phone number, don't answer. If it's important, doctors' numbers are going to come through saying, no, not identified anyway, so you're not going to know that one. The IRS, they're not calling you, so don't worry about it. The police, your kid is not in jail, don't worry about it. Neither is your grandkid, and they wouldn't be calling you at 3 a.m. Don't worry about it. You're not missing anything. Don't answer the phone. The company doesn't come up on the internet search. That's because they're a fraud. They don't want to come up. Your state regulators can't verify the company. They pressure you to make payments that are hard to trace or don't provide consumer protections. Okay, Western Union, don't go sending anybody any money by Western Union. Don't give them any passwords or access to your bank accounts. If they ask you to send them the Walmart gift card, that's a scam. Don't do it. If you think that you want a trip to Bermuda, it's probably the Bermuda Triangle. You don't want to go. Stay away. They pressure you to pay or give up personal financial information. There is no legitimate institution that I know of that's going to ask you for any personal or financial information over the phone, especially if you don't recognize their number when it comes up. The original creditor has a different story. That's a scam. Reporting scams. I'm going to leave that for later. Seniors, don't worry about it. Let somebody else report it. Dealing with legitimate collection agencies, you're going to know if you've got a legitimate collection. Call us at creditsanitizer.com. Go to creditsanitizer.com. We'll help you for free. And we're not going to ask you to send us a Walmart gift card or any of that stuff. We'll know about it. And like I said earlier in the broadcast, that's one family that was being told that there was a notice of default filed on their home. Well, I went to the county recorder's office. I went to the title company. I asked the title rep. They did a deep search. There was no notice of default filed. Scam. I hate them. That's your Credit Matters segment brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. I'm a little opinionated, especially when it comes to stiffing seniors. My pet peeve, I'm going to share with you my pet peeve because I can. That's why I didn't read the information on the last one. My pet peeve. So you got a parent or grandparent or aunt or uncle, and they've got boatloads of equity in their property, and they would be benefited. Their health and safety and welfare and enjoyable life would be if they were in a senior community, but they don't have boatloads of money, but they got a lot of equity. Well, in the reverse mortgage world, what I hear from kids is, that's my equity. I'm going to get that when they die. Oh, and I hate it. Get new kids. Just throw that out there for you. Number one, it's not true because the equity grows faster than the interest expense. But number two, it's your money. Enjoy your golden years. If it's better for you to call Claude and sell your house so you can go into a community and enjoy your golden years because you got all kinds of equity, you've saved that money, that's for your retirement, spend it. I said to my mom, she didn't listen to me, but I said it to her, spend your last dime on your last breath. She didn't listen. She left too soon, but it would have been a lot nicer if she did. That's my pet peeve, but you guys ever heard those things? It's got to dealing with seniors. That's got to drive you crazy.
I agree with that. I know many people want to leave a legacy for their children, but they can do that.
Right.
So you enjoy what you've built.
Right.
Until your last breath. Exactly. I absolutely agree with you.
Amazing. Claude, you ever hear that with people with their houses?
Often, mostly from the children.
Yeah. It amazes
me. That's my house.
Right.
Or that's my inheritance.
Right.
Yeah. Just drives me batty, but something I
agree.
So you guys have an event coming up.
Yes.
This
exciting.
Sunday.
October 9th.
October 9th.
It's going to be at the Doubletree Hotel in Monrovia from 1 to 3. It's called Right Size SGV. We're going to have industry experts discussing next steps for seniors. Our audience is older adults like me and their parents.
Oh, wait a second, Monica. You don't look like you're an older adult. Wait a second. I mean, Claude and I, you make us look good and sitting here in the middle.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I have 2 high school sons. So, yes, I'm older. I'm an older adult. But
so if you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, you're seeing right there on your screen the website.
Yes, please go there.
RightSizeSGV.com. RightSizeSGV.com.
There are
what am I going to learn?
So many experts under one roof. So we're going to have 5 different speakers talking about the 5 major areas of transition. We'll have residential, financial, legal, medical, and emotional. Along with that, we're going to have a dozen specialists there. LifeVac is going to be there. It's a device that will save your life from choking. We'll have chefs for seniors. We'll have a transition specialist who will not only help you downsize your items and get you ready to sell your house, or that person can also help you move your items from your home into an assisted living community.
I missed one, Monica. You have a residential specialist, a financial specialist, a legal specialist,
emotional, and medical.
Emotional. What is emotional?
So emotional is exactly what we go through when our parents are going through the next stage in life, right?
Okay.
So you need someone. It's not just it's a holistic approach to health, right? More mind and body, not just what many of us, when we think of health, we think of physical, but it's more than that. It's that journey. It's traveling on that journey and helping at every state, because you may want to sell your house. You may want to move into a community that you can afford. You may want to stay home. There's a lot of things, a lot of pressures that you're dealing with, and then a lot of family dynamics. That's
why the biggest issue.
There's
Right.
many.
That is the biggest issue. And it's when an older adult gets to the stage where they can no longer safely live at home on their own. They have two choices. Number one is wait for the doctor to tell them you have no choice. But the best one is to work with.
But Claude, do they listen when the doctor says you have no choice?
Yes.
Okay.
The doctor, yeah.
Because it's almost like an order from the doctor.
Right.
Gotcha.
But before that choice, they have a choice with their family. With them and their family make the choice to move them to a place that's better for them, and that's all about the emotion and the family members embracing that decision and helping the family members work with the older adult so that the older adult makes that decision on their own.
Yeah, that's a challenging thing when you come to the cognitive issues. I remember with my dad having to tell him that he couldn't drive anymore, and it was devastating.
Yeah,
wasn't easy for me, but
No, it's devastating.
But for him, it was
losing that independence.
taking away his independence. That was the big issue. If you want more information on this, rightsizesgv.com, rightsizesgv.com. Costs you $20. It's at the Doubletree Hotel in Monrovia. It is October 9th, 1 to 3 p.m. And again, you've got residential, medical, emotional, legal, and financial. Get registered. And one of my favorites, looks like they're going to give you a $10 gift card too. Wow.
and a cookie.
And a cookie. Wow. I might just have to go for the cookie. I just throw that out there. Like as you know, I really need it, right?
We all need it.
Hopefully my wife's not listening when you put that cookie in there. But again, if you want more information, rightsizesgv.com. What is SGV?
San Gabriel Valley.
Okay. Well, I'm from Orange County, so I'm a little slow. I'm a simple guy.
Oh, hey, Orange County, everyone's welcome.
Rightsizesgv.com. Rightsizesgv.com. And as always, I ask you, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh, who's engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or meet any of our guests, call me anytime. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
Thank you.